Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Hallie and I'm so happy that you're here. Would you believe me if I told you that I just filmed this entire video only for it to be deleted the second that I took my SD card out of the camera? So here we go again. We're just gonna start over. Today we are going to be talking about all the books that I read in February and all the books that I want to read in March. Honestly, my February wrap up I was going to do as a separate video, but I didn't really read that many books in February, so I figured I would just put that at the beginning of this video and then get into all the books that I want to read in March, because my March TBR is huge. It is very overly ambitious. I don't know who I think I am. So I put like 10 books on my March TBR. We'll see if I actually read all of those. I don't know. If you guys just want to see my March TBR, then I will have that timestamped. If not, we are going to get right into this video with all the books that I read in February. Starting off, the first book that I read in February is Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington. So this book, I rated 3 stars. This is a book about, what even are the character names? Charlotte, thank you. This book follows Charlotte. She falls in love with this guy, and then there is a tragedy. Then she falls in love with his brother. That's all I'll say about that. I think one of the biggest contributing factors into why I rated this 3 stars and didn't love it is because she ends up falling in love with his brother. I just didn't love that plot point, and that's my fault because it literally says on the cover, my first love ended in tragedy and my second started with his brother. So who's to blame here? Me. It's me, because I didn't read the cover. I was just like, oh, it's on Valentine's Day. Let me read it on Valentine's Day. How cute. So this is the first one, 3 stars. It was a cute little romance. Didn't absolutely love the plot, but also some parts of the plot were interesting. So I think maybe some people would love this book. It just wasn't my favorite romance I've ever read. So moving on, the next book that I read is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This, on the other hand, was a really, really cute romance. So this is actually my first ever like childhood friends to lovers romance that I've read, and I liked it so much more than I thought I would. I honestly was a little bit worried about getting into the childhood friends to lovers romance thing, because especially recently I have been absolutely loving like romantasy and enemies to lovers and just like more high stakes romance. And so whenever I think about like childhood friends to lovers, I'm like, okay, but like what are the stakes? What's gonna happen in this that's gonna be so interesting, you know, that it will grip my attention and like make me emotionally invested? I didn't have too high of hopes for that part of it being like that engaging for me, but I loved this. I truly did get really emotionally connected with the characters, and I feel like it's because this book, it kind of bounces back and forth in timeline, so you get how they became friends and like their whole childhood. Really such a good backstory to them and like why they're the way they are and why they even fell in love with each other. But then they also tell you like at the very beginning of the book that there was a falling out like 11 years ago, I think it was, or something. And so then you bounce to the future, or like I guess current day, when they're adults, and you get to see just what is going on in their current life versus like their childhood. Then you get to see like what happened that kind of tore them apart and can they fix it, and it just was so good. And I was so much more invested in this than I originally anticipated. I loved the male character in this book because, what's his name even? Elliot. I knew that. Can't remember a single name. It's fine. But he is just so down bad for Macy. He's just like obsessed with her, and not like in an unhealthy way. It's just like she's the light of his life, and I love that so much. He was just so in love with her, and I love it so much. So yeah, so I really enjoyed this. I rated this 4.5 stars. It was a really cute romance. After that, the last 2 books that I read in February are 2 books in the ACOTAR series. I read A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin. Yes, A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is the second and the third book in the ACOTAR series. I loved these books so much. They were so good. They were so good. Let me start off with A Court of Mist and Fury. There's not too much I can say about this without like spoiling things, obviously, because it is the second book in a series, but I feel like in this book specifically, there's so much development in the plot and like so many dots that get connected. It's honestly crazy. I've never read a book like this where the plot has me like clicking things together and like, oh my god, literally every other page is just like gasp. G-A-S-P, gasp, craziness. But then not only that, with like all of the different puzzle pieces of the plot coming together, the romance in this book, so perfect. It's so perfect. It's so cute. I genuinely think about this book every single day. I finished the book and then I watched Carrie Can Read's like whole plot breakdown of it because I just like wanted more. Like I needed more. And I honestly like I want to watch that like once a week just so I can hear it all again because it's so good. It's just literally so good. I rated this 6 stars. This is like the only book rivaling Powerless by Lauren Roberts for me. Those 2 books are my Roman Empire. They are my top 2 right now. So it was so good. I won't say anything like plot wise because I don't want to spoil anything, but I loved the plot developments in this. I loved the romance in this. And also a lot of other surrounding characters were introduced in this book as well. And I really, really loved the whole found family vibe. I don't know if I've ever read a book that has found family vibes like this does. And I loved it so much. I genuinely can't believe how much I loved all the characters because I feel like, well, I guess I'm not picky. My average rating is like 4.5, girl. I literally am not picky. If I giggle and like have butterflies, I'm like, oh, it's 4.5 stars, it's 5 stars. So I don't know. I loved this book. It was so good. Honestly, it was such a great continuation from the first book in the ACOTAR series, which led me into the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin. This book also was so good. I rated this one 5 stars. I think the difference between this book and the 2nd book in the series was just that this one is a little bit more focused on the world and the plot development versus the romance. Like there is still romance in this. And like the plot still definitely follows the relationship development. However, there's also just so much going on plot wise that it's just honestly crazy. I don't know how Sarah J Maas thinks of this in her brain. Like, excuse me? That's nuts. That's literally crazy. But yeah, can't really say anything about this one because I don't want to spoil anything, but this was also so good. I never thought that I would be invested in like war. I'm giggling over these hot little ferrymen like running into battle and like boys with wings, you know. It's just, I love it. Yeah, those are the 4 books that I read in February. So like I said, I didn't really read too much in February, but I really feel like it was such a good month of reading because I really liked all of these books. Moving on to all the books that I want to read in March, or my March TBR. My March TBR is very, very ambitious. I put a lot of books on my TBR, so I really don't know if I will get to all these. Honestly, I highly doubt it because I'm coming from a month that I just read 4 books. And now I'm like, hey, it's me. I want to read 10 books this month. That's a bit unhinged, but we'll go with it. So the first book I have here is Powerless by Elsie Silver. This is I think this is the 3rd book in the Chestnut Spring series. I'm so excited to get to this one, honestly. What was I saying? What am I even talking about right now? 3rd book in the Chestnut Spring series. I'm very excited to get to this one because at the end of the last book, we kind of were like introduced to the 2 main characters of this book, and I'm very interested to see their story. And also Jasper just seems like he's gonna be like such a hot little man. And this one is a hockey romance. It's not like a hockey, it's like cowboy hockey mixture thing. I think that he is, if I remember correctly, he is like a family friend and he is a hockey player. So it's like technically a cowboy romance because the girl is the sister or the cousin of the main characters who are cowboys. I don't know, but I'm so excited to read this one. So the next book is actually another cowboy romance, Done and Dusted. I honestly put this one in here, one, because it's a shorter book and I have a lot of like longer or more heavy books on my TBR already. So just in case I wanted something that's a little bit shorter and a little bit more lighthearted, I guess, I felt like this would be a good option for me to add into my TBR in case I just need something fluffy and easy between all these giant/deep books. So I genuinely know nothing about the plot of this book. I just know that it is a spicy cowboy romance, and I think that the cover is so cute. So that's all we're going off here. Next, of course, we have 2 books in the ACOTAR series, actually the last 2 books in the series. So first we have A Court of Frost and Starlight. So this is technically, I think it would be book 3.5 because it's a novella. Correct me if I'm wrong. It could be book 4, but I'm pretty sure that this is book 3.5 because it's a novella. I don't know. I know that some people just like skip this book because it's not necessarily anything to do with the main plot of ACOTAR. It's just like a cutesy book, which is why it's a novella, obviously. what am I even saying right now? This is just like a little holiday book. I'm pretty sure it takes place in Christmas, or what would be classified as Christmas in this world. And you just get to see all the main characters like relaxing and hanging out together, I guess. I don't know. It sounds so cute though. I personally could never skip this book because I just could not go on with my life knowing that there's 200 pages of information that I'm just unaware of. Even if it is like little filler information, like I can't get enough of these characters. So like honestly, give me 5 more. I'm so excited to read this. My sister did read this as well and she thought that it was really cute. So I am really excited to read the novella, and I think it will be nice to have something just like short and sweet in between all of these like super thick books. And then obviously, like I said, A Court of Silver Flames. This is the last book in the ACOTAR series and I am so excited to read this. I honestly have really high hopes for this book. I know that it's kind of like 50-50 whether you really like this book or not because of the main character that this one follows. I think a lot of people are just like very split down the middle on if they like this main character because she's very like, I don't know, she's kind of like a so a lot of people are kind of like iffy on if they love her. I personally feel like from what I've gotten from this character from the other books, I will really like her book, and I'm so excited to see just like more of her backstory. I don't know, I'm just very excited to get into this book and see what goes down. And apparently this is like the spiciest one of them all. So I'm excited for that. Moving on, I actually have 2 thrillers on my TBR, which I'm so excited for this because I haven't read thrillers, I think, since October. So I'm very excited to kind of dip my toes back into thriller. The first thriller I have is The Silent Patient. I feel like I just have to read this. As far as thriller goes, I feel like this is a thriller that almost like ACOTAR is a canon event in every romantasy reader's life. I feel like The Silent Patient is like a canon event in every thriller reader's life. I have to read this because it's so highly rated by everybody. So yeah, so excited to read this. All I know about this one is that it is about a girl who comes home one day, or her husband comes home. One of them comes home, don't know who it is. She shoots him in the face or something. Kills him? Does she shoot him in the face? He's dead. I don't know. Oh, yeah. 5 times she shoots him in the face. And then she just never talks again from there. So she's in a psychiatric ward or something and they're trying to uncover like, why aren't you talking, I guess? I don't know. And then the other thriller that I have on my TBR is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I am also really excited to read this. 1, because a lot of people just love Alice Feeney's thrillers. And 2, because what I know about the plot just sounds so interesting. I think it's about a couple who wins a free vacation to this place. But then once they get there, they have to, I think, get to know each other or reveal secrets to each other or something like that to get out of a situation. Honestly, that's like the worst description ever, but that's the gist of what I'm going off of, and I'm very excited to read this. So I really, honestly, all of these I really hope that I have time to get to, but it's just like there's only so much time in the month. The next book we have is Butcher and Blackbird. I actually did start this last month, but then I never had time to finish it. So I only got a couple of chapters in, I think, but I am very excited to get farther in this. I actually have 2 other books also on my TBR where I had them on my TBR last month, and it's not that I didn't get to them because I didn't want to read them. I just like genuinely didn't have time last month, and so I decided to just like scoot them onto this month's TBR because I still want to read them. I just ran out of time. Butcher and Blackbird. This one is a romance between 2 serial killers. Definitely check the trigger warnings on this. They are crazy. They're crazy. They're just crazy. But so far I'm really liking it. So high hopes for this one. Honestly, I'm very excited to finish this one. Next, we have a new release, which I have seen so many people talking about recently, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to put it on my TBR, because I already wanted to read it really bad, but then seeing everyone's reviews has just like got me so much more intrigued because I really feel like it's 50-50. Like you either, well, you saw the book. Bride by Ali Hazelwood, but I feel like everyone that I've seen, they either like really love this book or really don't like it. Like there isn't an in-between that I've seen really. It's like you either love it or hate it. But I'm really interested to see because Ali Hazelwood normally writes STEM romance, and this is a paranormal romance. So it is an arranged marriage between a werewolf and a vampire, I'm pretty sure. And so I'm so excited to get to this. I feel like I will love it, but who knows? Who knows? Because some people just really did not like this. So I'm very interested to see what side of the fence I land on with this one. Moving on to the last 3 books, we have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I'm so excited to get to this one. First of all, how cute is this cover? I ordered the UK cover and it's so cute. I don't know, I've honestly been putting this one off kind of because I think up until this point I've never fully finished like a series or even like a duology, and so I'm kind of scared that like when this is done it's just a duology. There's no more to this. It's just these 2 books, and so I kind of didn't want it to be over yet. But I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to see what happens. I'm ready to see how the story ends. I love these characters. Honestly, I loved the first book, Divine Rivals, so much more than I thought I would. It was very unexpected for me because the whole first half of it was pretty slow and I wasn't like too invested. But then by the end of it, I was like, I'm so obsessed. I was so emotionally invested. So yeah, very, very excited to get to this one and see how their stories end. I'm so excited for this one, honestly. Next, we have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. Everyone has read this by now, I feel like, and whenever I finished Fourth Wing, I wanted to go directly into this, and I think that this came out the month after I finished Fourth Wing, but then I just kept putting it off for some reason. I don't know why, because Fourth Wing honestly kind of ends on like a crazy cliffhanger, and so like I want to know what happens. I feel like part of it is because this book is very thick, but I actually just got the Kindle version of this from my library, so I feel like that is kind of helping push me along, because with thick books like this, it's just so much more comfortable to read on the Kindle, or at least start on the Kindle. It just feels intimidating holding this, but like when I'm holding my little Kindle, like I'm like, oh, no biggie, 16 hours who? So yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens in this. I feel like when it first came out too, a lot of people didn't really have the best reviews on this, so it kind of put me off as well. But I don't know, I have high hopes for this. I feel like I really will love it, hopefully. I really liked Fourth Wing, so hopefully I really like this one too. I don't know. Lastly, we have Miss Magnolia Parks, which, listen guys, I know. This has been on my TBR so many times, but let me tell you something. It's a different story this time, okay? Because every other month where I have had this on my TBR and tried to start it and didn't end up finishing it that month, it was because I started it and like was not having a good time. Like I just was bored and like I could not get into it. And then I felt really disappointed and I didn't want to put myself into a slump. This time, I also got the Kindle version from my library for this one. So the other night I was sitting on the couch and I decided to just like test the waters again, but like on the Kindle. And when I tell you, I read like 6 chapters in one sitting that night and I was eating it up. And I was like, oh my god, the time is right now. Like the time is right. I'm gonna enjoy this finally, because I've really been looking forward to this book and like the premise of it. It's just something that I would love. So it made no sense to me why whenever I was starting it, like I wasn't enjoying it. And that's why I was like really disappointed in myself, because it was like, why am I not liking this? Like UK Gossip Girl, come on. I love Gossip Girl so much. And this is such like Chuck and Blair. Like it's such Chuck and Blair and I am just eating it up right now. That's why I say it's a different story this month, because I've already like kind of been getting into it and I'm honestly loving it now. So I'm gonna finish this month. I've already made it to, I think, chapter 14 or something like that, and I'm having a great time. I'm so excited to finish this book, so you will definitely be seeing this in a video this month as well. But these are all the books that I want to read in March. Who knows if we will get to all these or not. These are just all the books that I kind of have my eye on and like really am in the mood to read, so we'll see if I have time for all these. I will try and make a reading vlog for any of the books that I do read off of these, so if you are interested in seeing vlogs for any of these books and you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss further uploads from me with reading vlogs. Let me know in the comments some of the books that you have on your radar for this month as well. I love getting book recs from you guys, but other than that, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!